Fox News alert, political shockers setting in and setting off alarms for the Democrats ahead of the midterm elections, while dealing a devastating blow for President Biden. And we now await the results and the still too close to call governor's race in, as I've been calling it, cobalt blue Jersey, because it is, on the heels of the shakeup in Virginia, where Republican Glenn Youngkin just pulled off a big upset in the governor's race there. He beat Terry McAuliffe, a former governor, a Democrat, and turned that blue state red.
We are going to go to work on day one. There are always those. There's those that say that that hill is too steep to climb. But we are empowered. We're empowered by a conviction, a righteous conviction in our children's future. We're strengthened by our collective belief in the Virginia promise. So let's climb that hill together. Let's reinvigorate our future. Let's reinvigorate this amazing Commonwealth of Virginia.
You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. My co-hosts Emily Campagno, Kayleigh McEnany are here. Anchor and executive editor of The Story, Martha McCallum, is here. And in the center seat, Fox News political analyst Juan Williams. Youngkin's stunning victory last night in Virginia is raising all sorts of concerns now for the Democrats about their chances in 2022, especially since the Democrat, Terry McAuliffe, brought out the party's big stars to get there. They just weren't enough to turn things around, which must have come as quite a surprise to President Biden given his comments yesterday.
We're going to win. I think we're going to win in Virginia. The race is very close. So it's about who shows up, who turns out. And granted, I did win by a large margin. I don't believe, and I've not seen any evidence that whether or not I am doing well or poorly, whether or not I've got my agenda passed or not, is going to have any real impact on winning or losing.
Juan Williams, he did win that state by 10 points. And that county that counted so heavily, Loudoun County, and has been quite loud about the issues that the people there say they care about, he won by 15%. What happened last night? And how much of President Biden's mojo was put on display as depleting?
Well, it was Fright Night for Democrats, Harris. I think it's like a late Halloween, you know what I mean? It's where they say a hot mess, a dumpster fire, a highway pileup. Not a good night for the Democrats. And I think you're seeing it this morning in terms of Democratic reaction, which is really, you know, one of shock and remorse. I think as a result, you're going to see more action right now in Washington on all the bills that have been delayed. I think there's going to be an urgency about that. But what I think in terms of Virginia especially, but also, boy, that New Jersey race is a shocker too.
Right.
I think that, what you've got to see here is that for Republicans, Youngkin, the winner, really was an optimistic guy, a millionaire, billionaire type from the hedge fund stuff. And I think people like winners and they like optimism. And right now, given the Democrats in Washington, they don't have the results to show from Biden or Democratic control of the Senate and House of Representatives. The Democratic agenda remains popular in terms of things like, paid leave for maternity, preschool for children.
Yeah, but that's on the Democrats.
Lower drug
because if
prices.
they have something that they think is so popular and they can't sell it, that's on them.
That's a bigger issue. I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something there. I think the messaging is off, especially, they already did the COVID bill without any Republican support, but COVID really didn't prove to be a major issue in Virginia or in New Jersey. So I think that right now this election came at a bad moment in terms of the timing for Democrats because they haven't passed these last two bills and because Biden's numbers are low.
I want to get back to when you bring in the rock stars, Martha, and there's no concert for you.
Yeah.
Like you bring in everybody, Barack Obama, you bring them all in, and when the singing stops, the crowd's like, did somebody play?
Yeah, you know what, Harris, I think there's a big message in last night's election, which is continuing today, and that is that Democrats and the people that you see up on the screen right now, from the former President Obama on down, they can no longer rely on the suburbs and the blue-collar workers of America to be in lockstep with them. I think that one of the things that we learned last night in looking at the exit polls is that they want something that they're not getting. They want something that centers more around security and law enforcement. We saw what happened in Minnesota last night, where they said, no, we don't want to defund the police. In fact,